what you're going to get is an HTML market dashboard that is the market commentary. You're going to get that sales desk brief that I mentioned too. And I also asked it, hey, could you send this a possible email out as a draft to distribute to the broader, sales or marketing team, depending. I've loaded it up with some sample data here. This is a mix of sort of synthetic and publicly available data. I'll just kind of show you what some of it looks like here. I'm not going to spend too much time. We'd love to actually, build this out for real with your own sources. But that's the type of stuff that's in there right now. So let me run this playbook here. I'm gonna jump into the finished product in a second, but I just want you to see it sort of take off here in flight first. You notice the playbook interface then kind of brings us into where I first started us. And what it's going to do, it's going to create a plan. So there's full transparency. We have a saying it writer. We're a glass box, not a black box. Most research labs are going the other way on transparency. We moved up to number 2 in Stanford Helm's recent study there, right behind IBM. So it lets you know exactly what you do. At any point in time, I can interject, tell it to do something else. You're going to see citing occur, all the reasoning work that goes into this. And one thing you might be saying here, as far as like the data I use, like maybe Berkshire analysis probably isn't overly fixed income capital market, something you'd be creating market commentary on. But it was just something that was publicly available to kind of illustrate this workflow. In the reality, we'd be putting your strategist notes, market data, sector coverage. The point is more the agent turns all of those disparate inputs or commentary into something structured, close to polished that then you can distribute. So unless there's any questions, I'm going to jump into what the output looks like, if that sounds good
Hey,
here. Well,
Carlo,
yeah, please.
one question. So those bullet points you have as the in progress items,
Yeah.
are those things that you had set up with the playbook, or are those things that like were created automatically by the playbook? Like are
Yeah,
those
I was gonna save this to the end, but I think it probably makes sense to do now because you're wondering about it. So, check this out. I'm gonna try to recreate this playbook from scratch. There's a couple ways that you can create a playbook. You can sort of just chat with something and workshop it, and then when you get the output to a point, thinking back to the first window I showed you, you just say, "Hey, can you make me a playbook out of this?" And boom, it'll create it. The other way is like if you're intentionally going in and you're like, I want to make a playbook for a use case, which we'll do on the onsite, and I'm just kind of pasting in a potential conversational um, prompt. So the big thing here is you don't have to come up with that huge plan. You just need to describe the business outcome using natural language, hit this transform button, and trust writer to build that plan that you'll still be able to modify. So this should look very similar to the playbook that I was running here, as far as like if I hit the preview button, it's got the same type of inputs here, email, tells you what it's going to do. And then this is let's call it system prompt that you're seeing running through right now that you asked about. And if I wanted to change any of these things and Gmail, you can still have that control there. So I did want to cover that, Jason. I was going to leave it to the end, but the fact you asked makes me feel like I should show it now.
And Jason, just a quick point on your question. One is that you can be as specific as you want in the playbook, as you can see, and then in which case the agent will go in step by step and execute as you asked it. But if you wanted to, you could be less specific, and it'll still make you a plan. So this is the specificity with which you can direct it. You can give it guidelines, give it the thing. But then Carlo was showing in the actual running session, the actual orchestration layer will take all your input of the playbook and create the step by step, like so. And if you put in your playbook, the first step is generate the PDF, and then the third step was doing the research. It knows to put the research first and generating the PDF later.
that's cool? Thanks.
No problem. So another saying here, and I think this would be more important for Jessica, your team. If you can describe it, you can build it. the barrier to building repeatable agents has never been lower in Writer, and the ceiling is through the roof as far as what you're going to see next. So let me take you into the actual output here. So again, I was just trying to get creative. I know your market commentary doesn't look like this, but this is what it was able to create from those inputs here. So I'll walk you through this in a second. And what I will say too, the goal obviously isn't to let the LLM invent commentary. It's to structure the workflow, ground in your research, your data, and your positioning, and train it on your best examples, but still obviously keep the human in the loop here. So, not saying necessarily this is what you'd want your market commentary to look like, but coming on site, we could really dial this in to what would be, impressive for you all and close to how you would do things. And Addy, I don't know if there's any specific areas you'd want to call out. I think, again, it's less about what you're seeing right now and more the capabilities on display that you'd all have control over.
Right. So if we wanted this to focus almost specifically on municipal bonds for charter, some sort of segment, right? Like that could have been guided in the individual playbook, which would have dictated them this output. Correct. The flip.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Berkshire was just the example that I had to kind of riff off of in this instance. And I think the main thing, right, is instead of a strategist or the team spending hour or maybe not hours, but a lot of time, going through rough notes and marketing, turning it into something publishable, this produces something that's almost client ready. And the entire workflow is happening, in a handful of minutes. And not just the commentary, but this is something, again, I don't know what a sales brief would look like for Bard. Pass this off to the sales desk, but it's also generating this as well for them. I told it to try to write it in a way that a sales desk would want to digest this, so short and punchy versus what you saw on the previous one. And then again, part of the output was if I wanted to distribute this, what would that look like? So having a draft come into my inbox, keeping the human in the loop. There could be, a point in time when you get so confident in the emails or part of the work that you're like, okay, I think we're actually okay to distribute this automatically. And
no problem.
Thank you.
Have a
Everybody.
great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.